Welcome to Kolorflow Conversations. I am Uakeisha, and this is
Tikisha.
Look, you see how I peeked at you?
Yes.
I always want to be ready. I don't never want to interrupt your prayer.
I appreciate that. Prayer is
Yeah.
so
So
important.
we thank you all for joining us. We thank you all for watching. We thank you all for subscribing and listening. And the feedback we've been getting has been really, really good. I am so elated that it's growing, that our message is getting across. And I think that people are understanding our message to help and heal other people while we help and heal ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because when we watch it back, it's like a healing session. Like, oh, I don't remember saying that, but it's so helpful to me.
Yes. And sometimes I leave. I don't know about you, but sometimes I leave and I walk away with things that I said, and I try and incorporate that with whatever I'm reading to see how I can grow and be better.
Yes.
And some stuff I know that I ain't there yet to work on, and it's just what it is in this moment.
You know who I really want to thank?
Who?
The monitoring spirits.
Okay, period.
And I thank the monitoring spirits because
I did not know that's what you was getting ready to say.
I know it didn't come to me until then. You know, I'm led by the spirit, but I thank the monitoring spirits because it's to me just revelation. I mean, the monitoring spirits help us grow, but it also a revelation to me as far as how far I've come in my life's journey. And I know there are people that watch us and laugh or make a joke or talk about. Everybody has this. It's not just us. It's not like saying that like we like special,
but everybody got a hater.
Everybody got a hater. But do you believe all monitoring spirits is a hater, or just some people just like to watch?
I don't think. Okay, so I think when the term monitoring spirits is referenced, that it has a negative connotation with
Right.
it.
That's the same. But I thought about this because I said I'm a person that
but
watches.
I can monitor you from a good place, and
yes.
every day I'm monitoring when Real Talk Kim comes on, and it's from a good place. And even though she says things that I don't agree with,
exactly,
I still sit there and watch her, and I look forward to it.
Yes.
When it's 8 o'clock, I'm like, okay, it's almost 8 o'clock.
And I know we both watch her at the same time, and I had to think about the monitoring spirits because this has been like on my heart. Like, monitoring spirits are not always people that come from a place of hate.
Mm-mm.
We have a negative connotation when we think about it, because more so that's people who are known to watch you and talk about you behind your back.
Yes, but I can be monitoring you and thinking how you're pouring into me and changing me and how I want to be better. And it can be not like a idol place, but a role model.
Yeah. So when I say I'm thankful for the monitoring spirits, I'm thankful for the haters and the just watchers that watch just like me. Because the haters are, of course, motivators.
Yes.
Whatever.
Yes.
Blah, blah, blah.
And when they realize that that's their position in people's lives, maybe their lives could change for the better.
Yeah. So I'm thankful for the monitoring haters, because I believe this could be shocking to some people that we are like sitting up here talking about God like this.
Yeah.
That we like.
It'd be shocking to me.
Does it?
Yeah. Because a lot of times it's just like, I knew that, I know what's in me because it's me. But I never thought that I would be sitting here having these type of conversations with anyone else ever.
Yeah.
And 5 years ago, nobody could have said, in 5 years, you're going to be sitting doing a podcast with Keisha. I would have been like, for real?
You couldn't tell me that 5 years ago either, for sure. Because I wasn't in a place where my mind was even prepared to do anything like this. So I'm sure a lot of people who may watch to see what are they talking about now. Let me tune in, because there's views that don't comment, but I know that it's a monitoring spirit, whether it's a hateful place or a place of, let me just see what they about to talk about now.
Mm-hmm.
But no, you could not have told me 5 years ago that I was going to be sitting here sharing my life's journey, my experiences, your experiences.
Me either. And I think overall in my life, I've been transparent, with my ups and downs, my mental health struggles, but to just be on here where you can visually see me talk about it.
Yeah.
And you can and the people who really know me, you really could tell from when I step on here on what's feeling, because when we watch it back, I'm like, yep, like you said, oh, you look like you was about to cry.
Yeah,
and I was sitting here like I feel like I'm about to cry all over again from just watching that. So just being transparent, like I'm not thinking about those monitoring spirits, which I was. I remember in the beginning, I would tell you like the comments, how they were. Now it's just like, I don't even care, because I had told you I was going to stop reading them. I ain't stopped, but I don't let them bother me anymore because I know that, number one, whatever I said at that point in time was my truth.
Mm-hmm.
Number two, I'm human and I know I'm going to make mistakes, but more importantly, I know that I am growing and I'm trusting God. So whatever may have happened from week 1 to now doesn't even, I don't want to say it doesn't matter, but I know that I am trying my best to be a better person all around.
Yeah. Same.
And for me, that's what the purpose of this podcast, when I come, I'm having a healing session. I remember somebody told me that was just like, oh, it seemed like it was therapy. And I still did said, yeah, it was. Because for me, that's what this is.
Yeah. I mean,
even though we talk about everything and laugh and joke, it's still like, it's real talk.
It actually is real talk, because I think we both have shared things that, we have private conversations, of course. Then we have private conversations with other friends and things about things that's happened in our lives. But when you actually share some of those private thoughts with the world,
because this is out here for anybody to see. People that we don't know. It's not even about the people that's in our lives, because honestly, I still don't know who in my life watching it.
Not many, except the monitoring spirits.
Yeah. The ones who I know legit watching it, legit are what? The 2 people that I know personally that comment. Other than that, I don't even know. Yeah. And it don't even matter.
It does not.
Because what I want is for this to reach the people who it's supposed to reach, who is supposed to help.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And that's the thing. Like when people ask me, how's the podcast going? I know that's not my audience, because they're not watching anyway. And the people who I desire to help in my heart of hearts, I know it's going to reach them.
Yeah, I haven't gotten asked that question in a long time, but I do think I did, like within the last couple of weeks. And I honestly never know what that question means. No. Are you asking me like, do I enjoy it? I don't know what that means. But when you say like, how's it going? I said like, we still do it every Thursday. I still record every Thursday. Check it out on Friday.
I think it's a general question. It's a general question to start conversation, because when people know that you're doing something, and this is for anybody, when they know you're doing something, they're always going to ask how that thing is going.
Okay, that's true. And I guess I didn't think about that as it being like a conversation starter.
It's a conversation starter.
But when we go back to me not really want to have conversations, to me it's like, I record on Thursday. It's good. What's next? You know what I'm saying? Like you need to keep it going, or if you want to know something else, you need to ask me, because I don't want to talk no way.
It's a conversation starter. That's how they're trying to get the conversation started. And me and you different. I answer like, oh, it's going good. We enjoy it. We blah 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 blah. Whatever I'm saying.
Yeah, because we talk about stuff, and you be like, well, what about this? And I be like, I ain't asked. Like the shit, I barely want to know what I know.
That is true. We could be talking about something. I'll say, well, what about this? You'd be like, girl, I ain't asked that because I don't care.
I say that to people all the time. Like, I did not ask.
That is so funny. Questions. That is really, really funny to me now that I think about that.
Yeah, so when I ask a question, you gotta know I'm really engaged in this. Like, I really want to know. And not saying that I don't care about people, but I don't be caring about that stuff. I don't be wanting to be brought into certain aspects of people's life. And that's how I look at it. Like, the more questions I ask and the more I know, the more I'm giving you some of my energy.
You don't ask me about
Nothing.
rarely anything, any person, friend, family member, job, client.
No.
I'm now thinking now as I'm sitting here
I
thinking.
ain't saying like, oh, have you seen so and so? How they
never
doing?
do that.
No,
Never.
I don't even ask you about your sister because if I want to know about her, I got her number in my phone.
You don't. You have never You
I don't do that.
You don't.
I very rarely, and when I do ask people about something, it's literally generally because something was on my heart. My friend, her daughter is pregnant, so I'm just like, okay, how's she doing? How's she doing? How's she doing? How's she doing? Because it's on my heart about when this baby coming, because I'm ready to meet the baby. But other than that, I ain't asking.
I am careful now to ask because I'm a talker. I like to talk. So I am a person that always asks people when I see somebody, if we have a mutual friend or something, have you talked to so-and-so? I have always been that person, which now I think has not always been good because it can start negative conversation.
Yes.
Like me and her ain't friends somewhere, or why? And that
then
begins
boom,
to
boom,
gossip.
boom, boom, boom. Yep.
Yes.
It's so easy, and that's how it goes.
Yeah, it begins that, and then that could be your whole topic of conversation.
Because even my sister would be like, so asked me about you, and I'd be like, why they ain't just call me? What they asking you for? What you know? Yeah. You don't really know how I'm doing.
Yeah.
Even if you see a person every day, you don't really know.
Yeah, you don't. So I am careful now in my healing journey because that's part of healing, like trying to stay away from those conversations. I am careful to ask how someone is doing, or what you've been doing, or how something is going, because also that could be
it's a gateway
to a lot.
Things.
Like if somebody started a business and then it didn't do well, and you say, how's this going? Like if we were to stop, because we don't care who watch or who don't, this is healing for us. But if somebody's business was to fail and you ask them, how's your whatever, and then it's like, oh, I ain't doing that no more, it can trigger something for people, so I am careful now that I'll know to be more careful about it now that we're having this conversation, that you don't want to trigger something in somebody else, and you don't want to be a gateway to a conversation that you're not trying to have.
Yeah, both of them
because that could be a monitoring spirit too. Like if you ask, how's this going? Why you weren't trying to monitor that?
Yeah, because sadly, unfortunately, everything doesn't always come from a good place.
A good place. And I want to be that person.
Yeah, and I don't think when people ask me, these particular people that I'm talking about are people I know, so I know that they just genuinely, at least I think they genuinely asking because they care, but I just don't be wanting to talk. Well, it's fine. Watch it. How about this? This really, and I probably should start saying this. You watch it and you tell me how it's going. Tell me what your opinion is of how the podcast is going instead of asking me how it's going. Because clearly it's going good for me because I'm posting a damn video every week. So it's going good and I love it.
And that's how it should be. I mean, I don't always think people come from a bad place when they say, how's something going? But
like you said,
also got to be careful. To the gateway of, are you really trying to have this conversation? Or if you messy, you are trying to have this conversation. I remember when I got separated from my ex-husband, and a friend of mine asked me, how's it going? And then she, at that time, I wasn't healed, so I ramble right on, talking right about
vomit out of the mouth.
Oh, vomit out of the mouth, baby, mouth long. So when I think about it now, and I think about things she said to me, like she kept egging it on, like, did you ever? She even asked me one time, did you ever wear sexy clothes? Maybe that led to this. Did you ever do this? And And I was just like, and I was feeding into the conversation, like, it was a whole, and every time we got together, that was the conversation. At this time, I was in my season of hanging with that person all the time. And now when I think back to it, I'm like, when I started my healing journey, and like I was trying to talk about that, and I'm like, I don't have a reason to be mad about it. You don't want to hang with me no more.
Let me ask you this, because when you say healing journey, what does that mean? So our viewers, what does that mean? What does that mean to you?
Because I think people may think it's just healing in just one aspect of my life, of getting over divorce. It's not that for me. It's healing from childhood things, because I talk about my childhood was great, but there are things that happen in childhood that train you to be a certain way that's not a healthy way. That's a journey. That's another journey. Being bullied in school that make you feel insecure about yourself in a certain way. That's a journey. That goes all the way from childhood to adulthood. Relationship with my sister. We bumped heads over the years, so to come into a place where now I can consider her like one of my closest friends, not just my sister. That's a healing journey. Mm-hmm.
So it's really just overcoming experiences in your life that are traumatic, and people need to understand everything. When the word traumatic doesn't necessarily have to coincide with something that's
huge. Yeah. Because when I say things that happen in childhood, I'm not talking about like I was abused or anything. No, I'm just talking about the way of
you've been conditioned to
the way you were conditioned to think, the way you were trained to do things. Not saying the way you were trained to do things was a wrong way, but developing my own way is a healing journey. Like I still have issues. Well, not issues, but my mind is still triggered when I hear or do or say or hear somebody else do or say certain things that I knew in my childhood that was probably trained for me to think a negative way about it. So that's a healing journey for me. So being judgmental, that's a big healing journey for me. Try not to judge other people, the way they do things.
I think being judgmental and judgy is just something that's going to be ongoing for all of us as humans, because
it is.
We be so quick, and sometimes it's just unconsciously.
It is.
But and not even necessarily to be mean about it with somebody else. We just be so quick on why they do that or why they da.
Yeah. My healing journey, like when I realized I needed a healing journey, because it may have been triggered from a relationship, but it made me think, man, why did I think about all this? Well, let me start at the childhood. Well, let me start here. Let me think of middle school. Let me think of high school. Let me think of everything. Let me think of my community choir singing days where we was always in church.
Yeah.
Every weekend. It was like the club for us, but it wasn't changing my life. Was it changing my life in a positive way? No. We were just all hanging, dating each other, going out to eat, socializing, then talking about each other, then whatever. That's a healing journey, because these are people I still see and know. And, I'm sure we all changed over years, but I had to heal from, different aspects in each season of my life. Because right after that, then I tried to do the club scene, because the church scene hurt my feelings or whatever. Realized that wasn't my scene, So to completely heal, and I think it's ongoing. I believe it's ongoing for us. Even when we talk about family and friends, it's ongoing.
I agree. I don't think it ever stops. I think that's why it's the journey, that word is on the end of it, because it never stops. And everything isn't from just childhood, like you said, because it's things that happen your teenage, you know what I'm saying? And while you're in their adulthood, there's things that happen now that can cause a trigger or make you revisit something or some new information that you'd be like, well, I'll be dying. You know, so that's it's a journey.
It's a journey, and so I don't want to come across like my healing journey is just from divorce, because that's actually the most smallest part of my healing journey. Didn't take me long to get over it at all, because when I realized that my healing journey was so much bigger than that, you know,
point in your life,
point in my life, that was like
that segment.
It's pretty much a segment, that chapter. You know, it was so much more that developed who I am. You know, develop your character, develop your integrity, like the person you are. So I feel like my healing journey is like me learning how to be a good friend. Me learning, not saying I was ever a bad friend. I may not have been the best friend, but me learning that everybody's different. And you treat each friend different based on their personality. Based on their personality. So me learning that and not thinking everybody had to fit in my box, that's a healing journey. So, you know, now I know that because I look back on friendships that we talk about all the time that I don't have anymore. Because I won't say I lost, because I feel like a lot of people are for a season. It teaches me like, oh, that's a healing journey for me to learn these different personalities that I can't box you and Tanya in together, because y'all completely different.
Yeah.
You know, so my healing journey, I'm like, it's going to be an ongoing journey. It's probably going to be a journey until I leave this earth.
It will be, because we're continuously like healing and learning.
Yeah,
we're learning. But I think the other aspect for the journey is your spiritual life.
My spiritual life, girl. My spiritual life, I told you this morning, I said I woke up this morning at 5:55 a.m. and you did too. And I was in my Bible for almost 2.5 hours. And when I be reading and stuff hit me, I be like, ooh. I be convicted of things like, because I remember my life over the years, like, oh, that was you. That was you, Keisha. Thank God you recognizing it now. It's a healing journey. And not judging people, because when I say 555, it reminds me, oh, God, thank you. You woke me up this morning, because I believe in angel numbers. And people were like, why don't you
talk about
talk bad about something that you believe, that someone believes is something good, because we believe in angels. I asked, I was in the car with my children and Gabby's friend yesterday. Her mother passed. You never met the friend, but I've talked to you about her. And some type of way we started talking about angels. And I said, so you believe in angels? And she was like, oh, yeah. I don't understand how we cannot believe in it when, and why we get so angry at, or I don't want to say angry, or just talk about things in a negative way if someone's intent is in a positive way.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I told you, anytime I see, you know, numbers that reminds me like, ooh, and not that that's the only time it draws my memory to thank God for this day.
Yeah.
But it's a reminder of angels are real. I believe my mother is one of my angels. And when people be like, the dead is dead and gone, absolutely. But I believe my mother is one of my angels. I believe angels are real. There have been things that happen between me and you in a room together where we know, okay, that was the angel. Let's just let that be, because we know what it was, and it's now, it's not like a, oh my God, like it used to be with us. Now it's a confirmation.
I mean, well, you know, I struggle in how my brain go, because I've written about it and I've talked to you about it several times, because I'm like, when you read the Bible can be like, it's a book of mythology. Like, it's so much mystical things that's happening, and I touch you and you heal. That's like some magic. That, like, for real. But in day-to-day life when we talk about things, you know, others who have different beliefs, they come off so harsh.
Yeah, it come off harsh.
And it's like,
why y'all so mad?
Why are you so mad? Why are you so angry? If I believe that this angel number means something
positive
to me,
for you. Yeah.
Why are you so mad? I'm not sitting there worshiping like, oh, hallelujah, praise his name. Like, that's not what we doing.
No.
So that's where I struggle and I get, you know, upset. And I don't mean upset like I'm in my feelings, but I just get to where I'm
if you get upset, you're doing what the people that you have, but you see, you're doing what they do.
And I don't mean like I'm upset at them, but I get confused. That's the word, because it makes me think like, okay, so if this is wrong, then why? Like, what legit reason, scientific or whatever, when there's so much stuff in the Bible that is unbelievable. Flat out.
My life has changed.
But that metaphor is okay in the Bible.
Yeah. And I told you last week, was it last week we was talking? I don't know, we was together that day. And I was like, girl, there's a whole book in the Bible that I just finished called Numbers.
Yes.
It was all about numbers. And I was like, it was so tedious to me. I was like, but I'm going to get through it. And I did. But I was like, that whole book of the Bible was about numbers and how exact he was with the numbers and the measurements and the things. And I was like, "Ooh, it was a hard read." But once I was reading the summaries, I was understanding everything, and I was like, "I'm just not going to be that person that argue. I never go back and forth with people.
Yeah, I'm not gonna argue. I'm not going back and forth because my beliefs are my beliefs, and what I do is what I do, and you don't have to do that. But I just don't understand the people who get so upset and go so hard, because let's just put this out here. Let's just say if what I'm doing is wrong, and I decide that I'm still gonna do my wrong. Mm-hmm. What that's gonna change on your life? When we get to the gate, we probably ain't going at the same time.
Yeah,
it's gonna be. How is that gonna affect you much?
It's not. It's not. It's between you and God. It's between you and God, and that's why I don't get upset. I read posts and I could scroll on by, and I don't get. It doesn't bother. It probably doesn't bother me as much as it bothers you, because we don't talk about how
because my brain just don't stop. Yeah, and it be the small things. My brain just keep going, and I have so many questions because, like I told you, when I look at the Bible, I'll be like, this is a book composed of journals. Because everybody's writing their different experiences. And when you read the footnotes, it can tell you this, and you can go back to this chapter and you be done read how they talked about the same thing from a different point of view. So it's just like, I be thinking about all this, but then these damn humans be coming and saying this stuff, and then it be getting in my head. So that's why I need to be in isolation, because too much exposure, it just makes my brain go and go and go. And that's why it's so important for me to do what feels good to me.
And I think that's what everybody does.
At the end of the day.
I believe that's what people really, really should do. And I believe if you go to your church and your pastor preach something and you're convicted by what he says from the Bible, then you should live by that. If you read your word, if I read my word, because we all have different minds and different brains.
Because just think about how you and I have talked about, we've literally talked about, and we are on one accord for the most part. Yeah. But we read stuff and interpreted it differently.
Yeah, and we didn't argue about it.
We were just like, okay, yeah, I get that. I see that. I see what you said. Okay, but this is how I feel. And it's just moved on. Yeah. And I ain't saying that you damn to hell. Yeah. Because you don't. My opinion is not your truth.
I think it was probably last week or 2 weeks ago, you and I was reading something, and I was like, well, I interpreted it this way. And you was like, well, I see what you're saying, but I interpreted it this way. And I was like, I could see why you interpret it that way, but I'm still going to interpret it
this way. Yes.
And we was just like, okay. Now what? Because we all had different minds, and I think that's where I don't want when people post things, I don't get mad. I can look and I can understand, and maybe because I've been the church girl, I can understand coming from that place of where they are from. You went to church, but you wasn't the church girl like me.
Right.
I can understand why people come from a place of judgment.
And then I've had this same brain my whole life too, Keisha.
Yeah.
So even when I was going to it, I still was sitting there thinking like, I don't know if that's what I think that means. Because I've been analytical and an overthinker my whole life.
Yeah.
So the more I don't understand, the more I want to read to get clarification.
But this is what I know. This is what I know. This is what I know to be true for both of us. Whether we have differences on scriptures that we have read at the same time, and we'll screenshot and be like, this, because we wanted to relate to how we think and how we believe. This is what I know. We both seek God first in everything.
Yes.
And we both want to live for him.
And
what I know about this,
I want to be led by the Spirit. I say all the time that I want to surrender because I've made so many choices that I look back to and been like, oh, if I would have did this, then my life would have been so much differently. Maybe I would have been at this point now. Yeah. I'm 48. Okay. that pause meant way more than what anybody might have thought.
That was a long pause.
That pause meant way more than anybody might have thought. I don't know how much longer I have to go.
Yeah.
And I do not want to get it wrong.
Yeah.
I want to enjoy life. I spend a lot of I ain't gonna say a lot. I spend time struggling with my mental health and with depression and trying to stay on the right path. So I be wanting to surrender to God so he can just knock all that out and just give me the path and keep me going straight so I can live a happy and blissful life. I don't want to be this robot where I wake up in the morning, I eat breakfast. This ain't my life because this ain't what I do. I ain't ate all day. But you wake up in the morning, you eat breakfast, you go to work, you take a lunch, you eat your lunch, you come home, you prepare dinner for your family, you have dinner with your family, you maybe watch a show, you maybe scroll. Then you go to bed and you repeat and do that same shit the next day. Yeah. That is not how I believe that God wants me to live my life.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I don't want to be a robot. So I be wanting to surrender to see what my path is because it has to be more to life than that. I don't want to look forward to and say, oh, I got a vacation scheduled in 2 weeks and then I'm going to be so happy when I go on vacation. No,
I want to be happy now.
I want to be happy right now.
Yes.
And I want to be happy in the Lord.
Yeah.
Because I done spent too much time dealing with my evil side and those demonic spirits that I'm in my crossover.
Yeah. And I think that's what
how did we even get here?
I don't know, but people have to be careful, especially the people who say that they are people of God. People have to be careful with their judgment, especially when somebody's trying to live their life in the right way. Because if it's not doing harm to somebody else and you trying to teach them your way that you say is right, the Bible say this, we all have, like we said, we have different interpretations of different things. If a person's intent, and I feel like God knows my heart, like we say so loosely
all the time, he know my heart. You use that as an excuse for everything.
He know my heart, but he really does know our heart. He really does know our heart. So if there's anything I'm doing wrong by believing that when I see one, I believe that a new beginning is coming for me because I've had multiple new beginnings. So it's true. I've had multiple new beginnings. I'm in a new beginning right now.
And if I put on my evil eye bracelet, do I believe that this evil eye bracelet is protecting me? No, I don't believe that that's what the bracelet is doing. I believe that the bracelet is a sign for me to remember that God is protecting me. It's a sign for me to possibly recite a Bible verse, my fortress, my refuge. Yes. Like it's not that it's so much of this piece of jewelry
that you worship.
If this bracelet come up, it ain't gonna stop no bullet, sis. Like, I ain't, you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like the understanding of certain things that spiritual people do has been misconstrued, and it's misunderstood.
Well, like I said, I'm the church girl, so I understand how it's misconstrued because, like I talk about my healing journey, changing my thought process on how I think and believe about certain things, people, the way of life, the things they do, and not being judgmental, like they're wrong and I'm right. I have to worry about my relationship with God, not what they doing with God. And if everybody could get to that point, is that you like you said multiple times, when you pray, you light a white candle. That's just your ritual.
That's my ritual. Yes.
That's your ritual. I don't have a ritual when I pray. But am I to say you ain't really worshiping God because you lighting a candle? And right. I just want us to get away from that as believers. As believers, like,
and really that right there is just my ritual when I'm in my sacred space, my prayer closet, as they would say. Because when we get in the car and I'm gonna pray for protection on the way home, there ain't no candle to light.
Yeah,
but right, my prayer still gonna hit.
Yeah.
It just makes me mad.
Don't be mad, Tikisha. Don't be mad, because who you are is who you are. And people, family, friends, monitoring spirits, whoever, are probably never going to understand who you are personally and in Christ. You have to get to the point where
you're right, because you know what? I'm laughing because I'm like, some days I just don't even be understanding, because I'll be like, how did I get here? Because how did I get here?
That was your journey.
So many things that I'm led to do that I'm doing. I'm just doing. I don't even know why. It's not like I woke up and I read somewhere, oh, let me light a candle. It was just one day I said, oh, you're going to start lighting a candle. And I said, okay. And I just started doing
lighting a candle. Yeah.
It's so many things that I just don't know where it came from.
I mean,
like with tarot. I don't know where that came from. Yeah. But in the morning, when I flip that card and I would tell you those, I'm like, oh my God. The one today, I think it was, I don't know what it said, but whatever it was just like, oh, it was something that I needed to hear. I'm going to look just because I am. But I'm going
to say this, just like the prayer box I gave you, and I gave somebody else a prayer box too. That could be known as a ritual, because we write our prayer requests. Churches have prayer request boxes, and I come in here.
And see, I didn't even know that. I didn't even know churches had that.
They do. They have prayer request boxes, and I come in here and I will talk to God right here, and I have my little note and my pencil, and I will write down my prayer, put it in my box, like the incense, because in the Old Testament that was like part of the ritual that they did, to write like the incense, because God loved a great fragrance, and it was part of their sacrifice. So
it said today, I still my mind and surrender to the divine, which really was perfect, because I told you I woke up with 5 minutes to spare. And it was just, and I've been in my head so much lately about so many things that I want to do, things that I can't do, when this was for me. Calm down.
And he goes,
this to me ain't no difference than me sitting there if I was playing a card game with you. Uno.
Spades. Well,
but my card game is giving me some inspiration to remind me to center and to talk to the divine, who for me is the most high God.
That's what I'm saying. I don't have the rituals you have, but I don't judge, or
you don't judge me or make me feel some ostracized. Is that the word? Some kind of way, because I have those rituals.
No, I don't.
It ain't like, oh, Tikisha crazy. I ain't effing with her
and I'm not bothered by it, because I know that you are trying to have a close relationship with God. And the most thing we talk about now, as friends, we don't even talk about no mess stuff. No, we don't talk about no TV shows. We don't talk about most things we talk about now is sending each other encouraging, inspirational stuff in the Bible. Now we will talk about little family things we gonna do or whatever, but I mean it ain't like we just weird and don't,
Yeah.
I mean, Fourth of
But
July.
the other part is that's just where our life is right now, because it's not a whole lot of
mess
stuff going on. Thankfully.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Thankfully.
I don't, and I'm glad because
I'm glad
I probably
for the ease life.
Yeah, I would probably say 5 years ago, I probably would have. Well, no, because I've known things that you have been into over the years, and I never.
Okay, so what I'll say is you probably would have been like, and not understood it, but you wouldn't have talked about me or been like, well, why you do that or turned your nose up? It just would have been somewhere you would have been like, oh, okay. Kind of like how you still are now. Like, oh, okay, that's what you think. Okay.
So, I have never been, let me correct this. I have always tried to use discernment when it was time to preach to a friend. Okay. I more so use the discernment, I think, because my most experience have been in relationships. So I'd had decided years ago that when I see something is not good for a friend, then I would say, I don't think that you should get into that relationship because blah, blah, blah. Because of experience, I would say that. I didn't have any experience with spirituality or to me of real relationship with God before for me to say to anybody what you should or should not be doing.
That's deep. That's deep.
You know
That's deeper than what you think, because a lot of people
think that they have it, but they don't. Even a lot of preachers, pastors, who don't even live by the word, but they know, like the movie we saw, the Book of Clarence, where the guy was arguing that knowledge was better than belief. He kept saying, no, we know that belief is better than knowledge. They have knowledge of the word. We know what the Bible say, but are you living by it? Are you? Because I can go by somebody who I see actually living their life in the way that they should go, then say, you just telling me and I know you full of crap and really what you cheat on your wife, you a drunkard, you this and that, you trying to preach to me. I am not going to listen to you. So I never have been judged. I was never going to preach to you about Tikisha.
Yeah, because one thing about you, you're big on the transparency. Because we know everybody that you're talking about in the Bible had vices too.
Yes.
The vices were known.
The vices were known. They were well known. And now that I read more, I'm like, this was not hidden. This was, so I can't stand not being transparent, which is why I try to be transparent on this podcast. I was about to say this TV show. But I could not I could not preach to anybody. I can't preach to nobody about their kids when I didn't have kids. I still don't preach to nobody about their kids because all of our kids are different. And we all different.
And I've grown, and I even wrote about this a little bit. I've grown so much with that because I've always had this view of who I thought was a good mother and who was a bad mother, when really it wasn't necessarily that they were a bad mother. It's just certain aspects that I felt that they could do better.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean that they're a bad mother. So now it's just like I'm removing that completely and not even judging, because I say all the time that I know that I could have did better, but you know what? I'm a good mama.
You are.
And it took me a very long time
I'm so glad to hear you say that, because for so long you did not believe that.
I did not believe that. I wouldn't accept it. But now it's just like, oh no, I'm a good mother. And whatever decisions that my son may make that I don't care for are on him. Because I'm grown and I made decisions that I'm sure my parents didn't care about.
Same. And my father being the pastor, I probably was known as the rebellious daughter. But not rebellious in the way I wasn't running away or stealing cars like you hear about. But I always kind of went against the grain where I maybe because I knew I was going to come to this point too. Maybe I didn't know, God knew that I was going to come to this point where
He was preparing
he
you.
was preparing me. But I was always the rebellious daughter. I was a little rebellious and, wanted to talk back. I wanted to explain myself. I was the one that would try the drink. When they say in church, don't drink, it's a sin. I was the one that would try the cigarette. I don't know what time you ever tried that.
I'm like this like you God dang, you Tiffany. Tiffany, like, she lived her life as a kid.
Yeah.
Well, as a teenager, the things that teenagers do. Me,
Yeah.
I was not talking back. I held so much in.
Yeah, I would try, my parents were not strict, but they allowed us to go on dates. And I wasn't like the buck wild girl, but if my friends would say try this, I probably was that girl that I'm gonna try it. I was the rebellious one. I can't say that my sister was like that. She was a little more straight laced, and she stayed in that church, and she's still staying there now. And she played her music in the church, and she been in her word longer than me. And she, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I was never, and probably was, which is more likely why she would be more likely to preach at somebody about their life because of that. I did, I could only talk to you about, girl, don't date him. That's going to be a mess. Or a job situation maybe. But when it came to God, I never, ever, ever was going to say what you doing is wrong. Or what you doing is, because how could I? I wasn't living my life perfectly, and none of us are.
No, nobody is.
None of us are.
I even talk about, because how we say like, oh, I wouldn't do this, but you might.
You
if
might.
you was in that situation,
you might.
You
might do it. You
I can tell you my view right now today, but I can't tell you on what I wouldn't do, because I done did some things that I thought that I would never do.
Same. And the people who preach at people in judgment.
That's the key. The preaching in judgment.
Don't preach to me in judgment. If you want to give me a word that God has given you, give me that word in honesty and transparency.
Because I believe, and I said this before, that all the time you don't need to experience something, because you can have a shared experience. It doesn't have to be mine directly, but it can be somebody close to me that I know the intricate details that I've learned from that, where I can pass that information along if God is leading me to pass it on. But it's all in a delivery, because I ain't trying to judge nobody. Girl, that's why I be like, I'm just so like, if something was going on and somebody wanted to talk to me, like I said, I'm open to talk now, because who I am today is not who I was. And I know a lot of times that we act from places on where we are at that point in time. And just like I'm asking for grace and mercy every day, I want to deliver that to whoever else is in my life and been in my life.
Yeah.
It don't necessarily mean that we gonna be besties. Like what I didn't realize that I said on the last one, the scenery might change. You may not see me inside my house no more, but you might see me on the porch.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I am learning, and every day I'm learning. And when I read, even if I recognize something about myself or somebody else that's been in my life or in my life right now, I'm not going to go to them. I read this in the Bible and it said this about you.
You crazy.
I'm not. I'm saying I'm not gonna. I recognize it now. I'm like, oh man, I can see myself when I'm reading, and I can see other people, but there is no way.
Let me tell you this. Let me just put this out here on national TV, since you said it's a TV show. Let me put this out here on national TV. If you read something that God put it on your spirit that's Tikisha, send it to me, because I'm trying to be better.
Well, you probably could receive it because you and I can go back and forth, not back and forth in a negative way, back and forth and about
having conversations and understanding and respecting each other.
Yeah, because we got different, our minds are different, and it just be like, oh, okay, well, you see it that way, I see it this way. Well, okay, what we gonna eat? I am not. I don't feel like. I don't know. I probably hit the mic.
Which is so funny that we're just saying this, and I'm just like, this gonna make me turn full circle today, because if I'm like that with you, like legit, Move on. Don't think about it. Why is it that I let these people that I don't know, that I'm not even really talking to directly, that's making these comments and commentary towards others, get to me? What's wrong with me, girl? Grow up.
I mean, we flesh. We're flesh. We have feelings. I had a meeting yesterday. I was in a Zoom meeting about something, and it was a therapist that was in the meeting talking, and she said to all of us that a lot of stuff has to do with feelings, and we can't erase how we feel. No matter how you try to, whatever, you really can't erase how you feel. You can, now I am intentional about, I try to be intentional about how I feel and not let stuff get to me. Your heart is different from mine. I'm not as easy to cry as you are. You done cried on this podcast multiple times. I don't know if I've ever cried.
I am a crier.
You're a crier. So your feelings are, I think,
I've been sensitive my whole life, my whole entire life. It is very easy to hurt my feelings.
So you are bothered because of your feelings. And you probably want everybody to have.
Because I want a damn kumbaya and us all sit together in the fire and hold hands. That's girl.
And look at me. I don't expect to have a kumbaya.
Because I keep telling you, I'm trying to build my community. Who my community? Who gonna be on the compound with me? I got nobody on the compound with me.
Listen, I have people that's in close vicinity to me that I know talk about me, don't like me, but we have to deal with each other, you know, and I don't let my feelings get involved with that anymore.
And there's certain things that I'm growing where it doesn't bother me, but then there's certain things that where it does. But I'm an empath. I am almost 200 pounds full of feelings. That's just what it is.
And a lot of people are. So that's why when you see people post about things that you don't see anything wrong with spiritually, because there's a difference between spirituality and religion.
Yeah.
You know, you're spiritual. And most people think spiritual, they think witchcraft. That ain't got nothing to do with God. But yes, it does. God is a spirit. And they that worship him must worship him in spirit and in truth. You worship him in the spirit and in truth. You will, but everybody it's not going to interpret the same way. Mm-mm. So you hopefully, I ain't gonna say you have to learn. I'm gonna say I hopefully in your healing journey, because we done talked about healing journey, that at some point you will not let that bother you in your feelings. I think
for me it's going to be the matter of learning to master my feelings and my emotions, because again, if this has been who I've been my whole life and a part of my gift is feeling things.
Yeah.
So it's just to learn to master it. And that's just probably the key to life, because it's not like you said, you don't have feelings, you have them, but you've learned how to master them. So
almost too well.
Things don't even bother you.
Almost too well.
But like we talked about before, with me being extra empathetic, some things bother me way more than it should.
I mean, it's
because I be bothered about people that ain't even in my life. Like I be feeling sad for them.
Yes, and there's people that I love with all my heart, and I get on social media, Facebook, and I scroll and I see comments about different things that I know that I see as a judgment thing, and I can scroll on by. I'm not gonna argue with nobody in the comments. I know you're not gonna argue with anybody in the comments, but I'm not gonna argue. I'm not gonna think less of them. I'm gonna keep loving them. I'm gonna keep praying for them or whatever, because I pray for everybody. I randomly write names down that God give me that come in my mind in my journal. Like this at the top is prayer.
That is the one thing that I do love about you. Yeah. Like
I do.
And that's something for real. That for real, I think that's the good part that you can cite from church.
Yeah.
Because you will pray. Oh, she got a stick and shut in list.
I do. And not just the sick and shut in, it's just random people that come to my
Just
life.
playing.
But yeah, I do
Just
got sick and shut in. But I randomly write down people who probably have no idea that God placed them in my mind, and I write their name down. And even the other day, I text someone, happy birthday. It was her birthday. I said, hey, happy birthday. And this is so funny that we talked about this earlier. And she was like, thank you. I said, what you doing for your birthday? She said what she was doing and blah, blah, blah. We went on. Then like 10 minutes later, I texted her and said, hey, have you heard from so-and-so? And she was like, oh, I ain't heard from that person since, you know.
I am cracking up, and I'm sorry, I don't want to cut you off, but it's so funny because that right there is exactly how we was talking about earlier, how it opens up. Because today, my day, 7-11, I have a friend who's her birthday. I just text happy birthday, and that was it. I asked him what she doing.
Listen to this. I said, have you talked to so-and-so? She's like, oh, nah, we ain't talked to him. Wow, blah, 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 blah. Not even 15 minutes later, she texted me back and screenshot and said, you talked that person up. Because I had wrote their name down in my journal for prayer. I don't know what made me do it. She was like, wow. And I was thinking, girl, it wasn't nothing but God.
Again, see how you said that you don't know what made you do it? That's how I feel on half of the things that I've done. I don't know what made me do it, but I started doing it. And I just believe that you did it because you were spirit led to do it.
Yeah.
The spirit led you. And again, you're a conversationalist, so you're going to do that where I'm not. So it led that. And then there's no coincidences. I just am a firm believer of that.
Listen,
but that writing, I tell everybody all the time, I'm a firm believer to get in that journal and write. And just write. Because you can think it, you don't even know what you're going to say and just start writing. It don't have
to be, I literally write down people's names that I ain't seen in 20, 25 years that just come to me that I need to pray for them. They write their name down, write it down. Ex-boyfriends that I probably ain't got, I write down my ex-husband, his girlfriend name in there. I pray for them. I pray for people who I don't have great relationships with all the time. People I have great relationships with, I pray for them too. I pray for people I don't even know that well, that I may have just come in contact with in, passing.
This is just so powerful. And I hope one day I can grow and be like her because I don't do all that. Okay? I pray for me.
You pray for other people.
Sometimes. But for the most part, I don't pray for you unless I have your permission to pray for you. Because I don't want to say the wrong prayer. Well, and I'm big on that. Yeah. And I hate to say like the wrong prayer, but I just want to be in alignment. That I know that if you're praying for a certain thing and not necessarily a material thing, if you're praying for discernment, I don't want to be over here saying that I hope you get that job when really you just want discernment to know which job you need to take.
Well, I don't pray for anything in specific because I don't know anything going on in anybody's life.
So I
always ask God to
just cover them and bless them.
Cover them and bless them.
I ain't doing that either. There's some of y'all that I might do that for, but not everybody.
Yeah, I write.
Not everybody. Because see, when I think of praying for somebody, I guess I always, because my prayers are so extravagant.
They are.
That's why I never think of it in the simplicity term of, because I'd be like, no, when I pray for you, my prayer is we going down generations. It ain't just to bless you. Like my prayer be a prayer. So I guess that'd be the thing that I never think about that. So I guess I do pray for people. Well, okay, I take it back, y'all. I be praying for y'all.
Let me say this to you,
there do be people in my life that I really want to be blessed.
But let me say this to you. That scripture that say, pray for those that persecute you. Mm-hmm. Maybe you should like intentionally start doing that. And maybe some of the things that may bother you in your feelings will get better. And I'm saying this between me and you. We saying it to the world, but
because I told you how that has weighed heavy on me since we really talked about that.
Yeah. If you pray for those,
and one of those I actually started doing, and my life switched. Mm-hmm. It changed. It did a dramatic change for me doing that.
Yeah,
I just need to do it more.
And maybe that's why I do it, because I feel the wonderful shift in my life when I pray, particularly for
And then
the people that I know don't like me, or I may don't have that care too much
and
for them.
sometimes of those people that you're praying for, it's not even like their life changes for the better too.
I'm covering them in my prayers.
Yeah. So their life is changing.
Mm-hmm.
Because we ain't out here praying for nothing bad to happen. That's the thing that people got to understand. Like, everything I'm doing, I want to improve. I'm not even wishing those who persecute me. I can't even say it. I'm not wishing no harm on them.
Mm-hmm.
And you know how, like, and I've gone back and forth with this, and we coming on an hour. I've gone back and forth with this too, that like return the sender or the harm to none. I really struggle with that because it always take me back to the hurt people hurt people. I want you to hurt like I hurt. But then I have to be bigger and better that where it's just like, no, we both are hurting and are acting out of our hurt. So I just want us to all be blessed and be better people. So, okay, yeah, I'm going to do better in my prayer life and my simple prayer life because my other prayer life is just
extravagant.
It is.
I'm going to say this and then I would be done. We talked about some things today that I know a lot of people are church people and they are believers. And I believe that we need to, what is the word?
Believe?
No,
that's all I hear.
No, I think that we need to be sensitive when in the way other people worship God, because ain't nobody worshiping no Satan up in here. And I believe that if a person is trying and learning in their way,
if it's bringing them closer,
if it's bringing them closer to God, and they're in their word and they read it, we all have different interpretations.
And for me, if it's, and I believe in God, but I believe at the end of the day that I just feel like as a human race that we need to do things that's going to make us better people.
Yes. And if it's making you a better person, and you're not harming nobody, you're not out here killing, you ain't even cussing people out. Not like you used to.
No, because I used to. And wouldn't even think about it. Now I'm just silent and I just remove myself.
Yeah, you remove yourself. And if it's making you better, I think that believers need to be more sensitive to how they judge and how they attack.
Yes, because it's just like, you may be telling me that what I'm doing is wrong and it's a sin, but is your delivery on attacking me? Is that, what is that? What's the opposite of sin?
That's not going to win. That's not
winning the soul.
That's not going to win the soul.
Or your own.
Yeah, it's not going to win. So I think that believers need to be more sensitive, and they may not believe that. Everybody got their own belief. But me, I'm a person that's sensitive to other people's way of doing things if it's making them better.
Me too. And I'm open. Yeah. I'm open to all different types of religion because I just want my God is my God, but I want to be a better person. And it may be something that you've learned and incorporated in your religion that I'd be like,
that will make you better.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I look at our Muslim brothers and sisters, and I look at our everybody else I can't even name, but they're more peaceful than us a lot of times when it comes to their way of life. And sometimes you got to look at that, like, what make you be that way? They are disciplined about praying 6 times a day, and they're disciplined about this and what they eat. They have a discipline in their life that we don't have. Mm-mm. So I think that we need to be more sensitive to other people. Not saying they change that you believe in God. No, absolutely not. But be more sensitive because we are all different. He placed us all here. And when you read your Bible, you see how they were at war and fighting each other in the beginning, this and that, and how he was with the Israelites and how he would tell them, go fight. I'm going to be with you, go fight. I believe now we talking about something that's a fight. That's a fight. But I believe he with us and going to protect us in this conversation, because somebody's going to look at this and be like, oh, I ain't watching them heifers no more. And that's fine.
That's fine.
We ain't your audience. Deuces. But if you're a person that really believe that God is in your life and that he is a God that loves all of us, and that I'm trying to do things right, you trying to do things right, that you are sensitive to that instead of being judgmental and attacking, saying, I don't know, then I just can't deal. Sorry. Okay. So that's all you got.
That's all I got, girl. Sorry, not sorry.
Sorry, not sorry. Listen, we hope y'all like. We hope y'all subscribe. We hope y'all share this. And even if you don't, thank you for the monitoring spirits.
Oh my God, I fight with her today.
I'm serious. Thank you. Thank you because you bring our views up. You blessing us and not knowing it.
Okay, period.
Period. So, hey, you could let us know what you think in the comments. If you attack us in the comments, we welcome that because we're not going to be in our feelings. I believe that God is with me. God is, all in my life, in my heart, is leading me. He put the Holy Spirit in me because ain't no way I've been talking about this before.
And he working on me, y'all. He working on me.
He working.
Cause I might have to go back to not reading the comments, even though I never stop. I don't know.
Right. Hey, like, listen, and subscribe. We will see you next week.